Green Thumbs, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of my new Hoya series that I'm going to create here on my channel. Hoyas are my favorite species. Any of you that have been around for a while already know this. Having collected Hoyas for more than a year now, I feel comfortable getting on camera and telling you how I care for mine. My disclaimer would be that all homes and all environments are different, so please don't take what I have to say as gospel. I'm just showing how I take care of mine. When it comes to taking care of our Hoyas, or just houseplants in general, it really comes down to 4 basic things. It involves light, water, humidity, and soil requirements. So let's go through each one of those individually in a little more detail. All my Hoyas I keep in as bright of light as possible. I live in a townhome, so I have a house that sits on the north side of me, and I have a house that sits on the south side of me. I only receive eastern light through my back, which is my kitchen for me, and western light through my front, which is my living room. I keep most of my Hoyas in my living room. Over the spring, summer, and fall months, I keep my plant rack right up against my window. I also have a lot of hanging baskets, a lot of Hoya hanging baskets that I hang directly from my curtain rod. However, now that it is winter, I have pushed those plants back away from the cold, drafty window onto the plant shelf. I have installed grow lights and a humidifier to make sure that the plants are getting what they require to get through the winter months. My goal within my home is to provide them the brightest light possible, which is not to say direct sunlight. You should never really put any of your houseplants in direct sunlight unless they are a succulent or a cacti. The majority of our Hoyas grow in tropical regions, and they grow up things. They are epiphytic in nature, which means that they like to receive bright indirect light, but not direct, bright sunlight. There is a big difference there, and understanding that will save your plant in the long run. As for water, I only water my Hoyas when they are completely bone dry. This has become my best friend. I use this religiously on almost every houseplant that I have within my house. I only water my Hoyas when this hits the 1 on the scale. If you don't own one of these yet, you need to get one. Hoyas have a very insignificant root structure in comparison to the foliage that is on the top of the plant. They produce excessively long vines and leaves in comparison to the root structure that they have. If you overwater your house plant consistently, or maybe even just once, and you don't have it in the proper draining soil and or the proper pot, you will experience root rot very quickly. I water my Hoyas at the kitchen sink. I thoroughly soak the pot completely, and I will do that 2 or 3 times in a row. I will water it, I'll let it drain out, I'll water it again, I'll let it drain out, I'll water it again. But mind you, I only do that probably once every 1.5 to 2.5 weeks within my home. And that again comes down to the conditions within your own home. I use lukewarm water, and I make sure to get the foliage wet. It appreciates the additional humidity for a few moments until the leaves dry. I water until the pot is full with water, and then I let it absorb, drain out, and then water again. I use tap water within my home to water all the plants that I have. There is a lot of speculation out there about whether distilled water is better, spring water, tap water. The best advice I can give you is to know how harmful or how safe your tap water is. Essentially, what you want to do is create a light, fluffy, airy, well-draining soil for your Hoyas. So you were looking at pretty much 40 to 50% orchid bark. I throw in earthworm castings in mine. I use probably 20% peat-based potting soil, and then I also am pretty heavy-handed with my perlite. I also have another video in which I show my recipe. I'll link that card here if you would like to check that out after this video. While we are here on the subject of soil, I also want to talk about the containers that I prefer to use. I prefer my Hoyas to be in terracotta. I like all of my plants in terracotta. One, it is aesthetically pleasing for me, but secondly, I do drench my plants when I water them. So I like that the terracotta is porous and helps to wick away that moisture. It will not allow your plants to retain that water and sit in soggy soil like a ceramic or a plastic pot would. For humidity, your Hoya will survive fine in standard household humidity, typically between 40 to 50%. However, your Hoya will grow much better for you if it is more humid. I typically like to keep my humidity on my plant rack at approximately 60%. In the summer and the spring and even early fall, I don't have any issues achieving that within my home. I do want to caution you though, be careful with how much humidity you put into your house. If you overdo it, you could create black mold, which will make you and your family very sick. I hope you have found today's video helpful. If you have any additional questions for me, please let them in the comment section down below. I would love to talk to you. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.